And we're back.
Welcome to No Direction Beyond, your source for Starfinder's news, reviews, and interviews. I'm Alexander Agunas, No Direction's Everyman Gamer, and I'm joined as always by the most intrepid Starfinder this side of the galaxy.
I'm James. I used to write Code Switch.
All right, so here we are. We're like in the thick of Starfinder Second Edition having just been released. Obviously, back in August, we had the core rulebook, the player's core, come out, and that has all the rules for building your characters. And for our 100th episode, we went over that last time. Amazing. We did it. Somehow we survived to 100 episodes,
Yeah.
a billion hosts, a billion things. James and I are raring to go. We're at the next book. James, tell us, what are we looking at today?
So we're looking at GM Core, and wow, that was a good segue. I'm gonna derail this. That was a good segue. Which is the GM complement of the rulebook, with GM not exclusive but GM centered content. Um, this is new for me, being somebody who wasn't too big into Pathfinder Second Edition. I'm used to my rulebooks all being one book and not two books.
Yeah, it's really funny because if you ask like super old school gamers, they'll tell you, "Oh, back in my day when we played 3.5 edition, before my daughter Scarlet was born, we went and we had two books. We had the player core rule book and the GM core rule book." And and um yeah, James is giving me the eye. He knows what I've just done. I'm gonna get in trouble. um, uh, and so basically, you have this long tradition of the player rules and the GM rules being split into two separate books. To D&D still does this to this day with fifth edition and with fourth edition. So like it's not unheard of. Paizo definitely went away from it with first edition Pathfinder and Starfinder, and now we're kind of looking at a return to this model. If you ask me, James, I think the number one reason is probably shipping costs, like international shipping costs. They're
Mm.
they're they're kind of messed up, and current events in the United States means they're even worse right now. But we're not going to talk about the real world dystopia. We're going to talk about the Starfinder dystopia, maybe even the diaspora.
Oh yeah, that great place. I mean, I do like that they wrote quite a bit more about that. It is a lot more interesting of a place now.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you, all of you who are listening. James and I are trying something new for this episode. Normally, James and I will sit and we will go and we will like scan every section and have like lots of things to say that we pre-prepared. But we thought that, hey, we've just passed 100. Let's try something new and different. And James and we've like looked through the book, but we haven't done like a full param level deep dive, like super scanning, taking notes, putting on the show. Like, so James and I like we kind of know what we're talking about, but also there's going to be some like ahas and some like on live reaction to this. So we're hoping to have a good mix of the two.
Yeah. Just in the overview of it, it goes over the big headings of it are running a game, building games,
Yeah.
setting stuff like pack worlds, subsystems, and anachronistic adventures.
Yeah.
And the book itself is like almost 300 pages, like 260 or so.
Yeah.
Uh, so
So it's,
about,
correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm remembering my math on player core, the GM core is definitely smaller, right?
I can bring up Player Core right here. It is, yeah, Player Core's like 460-ish
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah. So our big five sections that we'll be looking through today, there's running the game, building games, the packed worlds, subsystems, and anachronistic adventures. And then there's also a glossary and index, which is kind of the Paizo standard. I always appreciate those
Yeah,
sections.
looking over that, it was very good. It allowed me to see stuff that was and wasn't in this book that I was thinking about, and it was very easy to find or not find. Thank you,
Yeah,
Glossary Index. You're very good.
we salute you. Now, the first thing, if you're going to start with this book, you're going to pick it up, there's an introduction. It gives you a kind of like an overview of what the GM's job is and how you can use this book to help improve your ability to be a GM. There's a lot of this section definitely assumes that you are a new player or a new GM who has not had a ton of experience. Maybe you've sat at a table and played a bit. Maybe you've like watched a tabletop streaming game or something. But there's definitely it definitely assumes that you're new.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
there's a lot of like you maybe did the starter adventure like Murder in Metal City, and maybe you ran that off the Player Core, and then you're like, I want to do something that has rules that I don't have access to in Player Core, or
Yeah.
will have situations that I'm not addressed. And the book is really for that first person because a fair amount of these early sections are just like, yes, this is how you run a game. You do talk to people. You do tell a story.
Yeah. And even when you move into the first chapter, which talks about running the game, like this part of the book is tit for tat exactly what is in Pathfinder GM Core 2. Like I recognize things that were in the original Pathfinder second edition like core
Wait,
core
does the
before
player
they did the split.
does the Pathfinder player core talk about running characters with disabilities?
Yeah, and the
Oh, okay.
objectionable content, Starfinder baseline, it's literally the same. It's the same text. It
Mm.
could have been copy paste. It is
Ah,
not different.
I don't remember that from
Um,
this Pathfinder one, but I was like, oh, this is a neat way to put this as I'm currently running a game that has a Vlaka in it, who's just like Ron Burgundy. I'm blind. I can't do anything. Yes, you can.
yeah, yeah. No, it's like, hey, here, read this. Read this. You're not just because you can't see doesn't mean you can't do anything.
Yeah, you got that set to smell that treats it kind of like eyes. Like it's a precise sense. Calm down. You're good.
Yeah. Right, right. It also talks a bit about like the different kinds of adventures you could play, the difference between published adventures, homebrewing your own. There's a bit about Starfinder Society. It discussed the different, for lack of a better term, the different like product lines that Paizo does adventures for. There's the adventures, the deluxe adventures, and the society scenarios.
Mhm.
It looks like they're going to use the term deluxe adventure to talk about an adventure path that we would traditionally call it, because it talks about like it's a premium play experience, a combination of unique. I guess not. I guess that sounds more like Murders in Metal City.
Yeah, yeah,
We haven't.
like the buffed up
Yeah,
modules.
yeah. It says it comes in a box, so I wonder if that means they're planning on doing more in the
I
future.
mean, they
It's
should.
interesting.
Those are cool. Those are really cool
Yeah.
products.
I definitely think that that's something that I want to show off maybe for a future episode. I actually have the box sitting over in my
Yeah.
closet, very nicely stored and ready to go.
Like I wish
I
I could get a what is that? Scoured Stars box set where it's just
Yeah,
that compendium adventure path with maybe some minis and some maps. That would
yeah,
be really a really cool idea.
man. Hopefully there's like a couple Paizo developers who listen and hear your request and they're like, James, we'll make you the Scoured Stars adventure box.
I mean, I'll take STLs even, and I know Paizo's been talking about doing things with STLs.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Mhm.
Um,
They also go over difficulty classes, which I don't know if that's the same as Pathfinder Second Edition, at least the initial book. But it seems like there's a lot more wiggle room and explanation as to when to use DCs, because DCs originally in Pathfinder Second Edition were really flat, and they seem to
yeah.
always scale. And it seems like they backed off a little bit on that language, which I appreciate.
Um, I would say that it definitely looks like there is some like changes in how that's being presented, which is good in the difficulty classes section.
Yeah,
Because like the simple DCs are here's a flat roll for a thing that is not hard. And then there is the level based DCs section, which is more like this scales with levels. So if you
yeah,
want like something that is based on player level, you can adjust it.
yeah,
I think that it's presented better because in
yeah,
the other one, it made it seem like every DC should scale, and
yeah,
that feels wrong.
yeah. That's how it seemed like it was presented, and that's dumb. A lock doesn't get better because you get better.
Yeah, or another example is like just because I get more competent doesn't mean that climbing the stairs becomes harder.
You were used to skipping 2 or 3 stairs, and now
I was
you're at
used to it.
risk.
I literally in a book that I am writing, I literally wrote an example where I got Owen and LJ, Owen's wife, Owen's partner's permission to do it, and I wrote an example of like you should not do a situation where you are scaling the acrobatics, requiring an acrobatics check to walk up the stairs and scaling that DC for level. Which is an important thing to do. Like you have to tell people this. Like if
Yeah.
you're looking at a GM guide, the advice needs to assume that you are someone who has never experienced role playing games before. We know that that doesn't happen. Like people
Mm,
don't get into this hobby because they've never heard of it before. Someone is there to show them. It's whether it's Matt Mercer or your GM who's been playing once or twice. You know what I mean?
yeah. Or your friend Kyle who drags you after school
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I do like that. I like the way that they presented it here. Looking at over it, it's the same information, but it looks like I'm not sure whether it was changed in presentation from PF2 into the remaster or whether the remastered here. But it definitely gets rid of some of the connotation that like you should scale every DC.
Don't do that.
I like how there's like it talks about like training animals and like subsist and track, and then like later in the book, it talks about how Starfinder is a post scarcity society. I have qualms with that, by the way. When we get later, I'm gonna nitpick that.
I'm
Let's let's take the line. The Pack Worlds is a post-scarcity society, and just put that right
Okay,
here.
okay. So we can, but I will say there's other sci-fi settings that are post scarcity, and the reason why there's scarcity is because people are mean to each other.
It's true. I agree with that.
Like BattleTech is a post scarcity society if people weren't mean to each other.
The true enemy was humanity all along.
Call come from inside the house.
Yeah, I like the rewards section. I like having all the experience points and like hero points and treasure just in
Yeah.
one place. I think that's good. The table is helpful. This is the same table that's in Pathfinder Second Edition. I recognize this table.
That also has a wealth by level one, right? Or is that the that later?
Yeah, that's where party treasure by level is.
Okay.
Um, it is transition from gold to credits. I think the conversion rate is like a 1 credit is like 1 silver or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's a conversion rate from the two games. So like when you get to Anachronistic Adventures, it does explain how you can adjust the prices, but also like hot take in some situations they should just be the same, like if it's magic items. But
Oh yeah.
I think that swords should be the same because I think that in the far flung future, people don't make swords like they did in in the olden days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you get in the future, you make better alloys, you make them out quicker.
That's true. That's a good point.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, the next section is building games. That section goes over like building a campaign, adventure design, and counter design goes to like what a difficulty scaling is. There's some variant rules. I'm very sad that stamina isn't in that or anywhere
yeah,
else in the game in the book because I know Pathfinder 2e has stamina rules, right?
that surprises me so much. That feels like an oversight. Like if you are someone who wants to cater to us like Starfinder fans, like why would you not have that alternate rule system in your book? Like that, like the stamina rules exist in Pathfinder Second Edition because they made them in Starfinder and wanted them to have them as an extra option. Now, granted, they don't accomplish the same thing. You basically cut your hit points in half, and half of those hit points are stamina points that recharge when you rest for free. Like it doesn't make a game that feels like grittier and the player characters are tougher, but healing is harder like it does in first edition. But so like maybe that's why they dropped it, but it's weird to not see that rule set here.
I want a rule set similar to it, but I'm just a grognard. And I can figure it out. I'm a grown boy.
Yeah, you can, but like
No.
it should be there. Like it's correct for this book to cater to newer players and make sure that they understand like how to GM. But I think it's also correct for a book to cater to its long-term fans of 7 years. And that one system not being here feels weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, there's also a good section on like how to structure campaigns. I think that's cool. Now, there's good advice here. There's a lot of advice here. It talks about power levels, recurring villains, changing the world, player goals, starting the campaign, ending the campaign. There's a lot of just written advice here. It's like sitting. This book is like sitting in a seminar. It's like when I'm going to get my it's like when I'm going to do my CEUs for my BCBA license, and it's like, okay, we're gonna sit here and we're just gonna talk at you all the things you need to know, and it's like, yeah, this is great, cool, thanks for putting all this advice here. I don't know, like I feel very split on it because on one hand, I think that a lot of this stuff is worth writing down and sharing, but on the other hand, this doesn't feel so much like tools as like GM lectures. If that makes sense.
Yeah. These are the sessions, the seminars,
Yeah.
a lot of this book is in me and Alex's opinion uh a lot of you could do something and not the
Yeah.
rules to do something.
You know what? It reminds me back when like Gem, Galactic Exploration Manual or Galactic Magic came out. I had these same complaints about those books about how it was, wow, wouldn't it be cool if you use this like magical anomaly in outer space? Or wow, wouldn't it be cool if you like went to this asteroid planet? Here are some tables, do it yourself. Like that's kind of the vibe I get from this book. It doesn't feel like a toolbox. It feels like I'm listening to a lecture seminar podcast, which I take that for what you want out of this, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um,
With rules just spattered in between it, sometimes
like
having you miss one.
occasionally, like I mean, it's weird because it feels like most of the rules are actually in the player core, but then
Hmm.
do we call that the player core? Like this feels like a GM. It feels back like in Pathfinder when you would have the core rulebook and the GM guide. This feels like a GM guide. So I don't
Yeah,
know like why we're saying this is the core book for GMing when it doesn't have most of the rules GMs need in it.
yeah. I think it's just because they split off the building systems
Yeah.
into this book, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to build stuff on your own.
If anything, like putting all the GM advice lectures into this book tells players that they don't need to know this stuff, I guess, and they don't have to buy this book, which seems like a weird strategy for a company to want to do.
Yeah, like there's a couple things that maybe as a player you might want, but yeah,
Yeah.
from what I've read, it would be something if you were getting into it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you one thing that I like because we were negative for a bit. I don't want to be negative all the time. Um, there's like an adventure recipe section in the adventure design part, and I think I like these recipes because what they kind of do is they kind of show that like different lengths work better for different adventures. Like the one that I thought was really good is it talks about how a horror adventure works best in like 1 or 2 sessions. You can't really take a horror concept and stretch that for a long period of time. James and I played Carrying Crown, and when you're in like a macabre horror thing for too long, the horror becomes mundane and it doesn't hit quite as hard anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Signal Screams was a pretty good length, and I think
Yeah.
bounced around between different types of horror enough to keep it interesting.
Yeah, well, I think what it did really well, what Signal of Streams did really well is like there was maybe like one. I'm thinking of book 2 in particular, where you're on. I think it's Verces is the name of the planet, right?
Hmm, hmm.
We're on Verces, and Verces, for those of you who don't know, because we haven't gotten to the section of this book where it goes over the different planets in Starfinder, so I assume you don't know anything about them. is it's basically a tide locked planet where one half is constantly pointed at Galarian sun and is therefore a desert, and the other half is constantly pointed away from the sun and is therefore a frozen wasteland. And the habitable span is like the ring between those two that actually gets like a day-night cycle. It's like perpetual twilight. It's a pink twilight town in Kingdom Hearts. And when you're in this section, it's like it's very dystopian for a lot of the book, where like you're just kind of dealing with abstract corporate like bad times essentially, and like there's like a bomber and stuff. There's like lots of stuff that happens, but it's like corporate stuff. And then you finally go to the corporate office to deal with it, and then you see that like they've like lobotomized most of their staff and they're plugged into computers and they're like and then like it goes from being dystopian to being horror. So we had like 2 or 3 sessions of dystopian adventures in the city, and then the horror came back, and I think that works really well.
Yeah.
And so I think that this section where it talks about you probably only want to do 1 or 2 sessions in horror is good.
Also, there's just some fun charts too. Later on, like the
Uh-huh.
rest charts. For a game and rule book that oftentimes gives you a bunch of rules and then says or whatever,
Yeah.
it will also calculate your rest duration and your watch duration down to the minute,
Mhm.
which is like, okay, you could have just rounded that, I guess. I mean, who's counting the extra 6 minutes on a duration of watch for 6 people?
Yeah.
I guess it makes
I,
the
I
chart look pretty.
I like the threat section too. Did you see that one in this in building adventures?
I did. I thought it was concise, but I wish there was more.
Yeah, well, I agree with that because like one of the things it talks about is like, okay, well, think about like how your threat affects the world, and these are some ways to show that. So like one of them is corruption. The opposition wants to weaken or even change the motivation of a place, person, institution, ideal, or group. And then it gives you some ways to show that corrupting influence. Or this place wants to completely wreck everything. It's a force of devastation. Show the force of devastation. Here are some suggestions to do that. I think that's really cool. I like that section. I think that's really good advice. I like the story art. Like I think building the adventure, the stuff is solid. Like it is good advice for like basic storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the advice part of it is good because the people
Yeah.
that do this are good at what they do.
Yes, exactly.
They write good
Um,
adventures.
but that brings us to like the first part of this book that I was like, wow, this is actually a GM tool and it's encounter design. um, so like this section is also essentially lifted from the Pathfinder core rulebook. It's got like how to choose creatures for your encounter, what the combat threats are, how to choose the experience. It's literally exactly the same. Encounter locations, variety, maps and terrain, wild weather, that types of things. Dynamic encounters, adding hazards, how to have and how to put your like morale for your enemies. I like that section because I feel like in our games, James, we constantly use morale and like
Oh yeah,
just having
totally.
having something here that's like, oh hey, maybe this guy isn't just going to stay here when you juiced his buddy next to you.
Maybe he ain't
like
built different. Maybe he is. Maybe he
like
is a family man that should go home.
James and I play in several games together, and one of them is a first edition Pathfinder conversion of Savage Tides. And our GM in that game is really good at being like, "Oh wow, your Red Mantis assassin just did 500 damage to this man." He gives up. He sees you reduce the man to mist and surrenders. like,
He ain't about that life.
and it's funny because like we don't think about that as being like part of encounter design, but if people don't act like people should, then if the game feels wrong,
Yeah, and it really helps heighten the contrast when you fight like automatons or things that don't think humanly. And
yeah.
you're just like, then it becomes, you get that slog of fighting infinite robots, which is, sometimes desired for certain campaigns or parts of them.
Yeah. So what did you think of the variant rules section, James? I'm curious.
Uh, I thought that some of them were interesting. I feel like the automatic bonus progression didn't. I'm so still unfamiliar with the upgrade system as a whole,
Mhm.
and just taking away the ability to do more choice on it is probably helpful for newer people,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure I would want to mess with that because I don't have a great feel on it yet. Um,
So I can tell you that those levels that those bonuses are at are essentially the levels that your character can buy those like numeric upgrades typically.
yeah.
So like it's kind of like the automatic bonus progression in Pathfinder 1E. Like, it's pretty harmless. Like if you don't want to have to make your players constantly buy new gear, this is what you do essentially.
Yeah, but what if your brain problems might mean you can't keep money?
Then this system would be good for you because then you don't need to worry about money to get these important numbers that you need.
But then I get less money overall because it's compensating me for upgrades that I wouldn't take because
That means
I
you
want a third laser eyeball.
just give the money to the other players and tell them to be in charge of you. It's like, do you remember when we played Dead Sons and my character was like, I don't know, I think I said I was like 16 or 17, and then Robin kept saying that I was younger every game until I was eventually like 8 years old, and like, and that wasn't true, but I was like, I'm a child soldier. I'm like 17. I'm like 16, 17. She's like, a child soldier. He's just a tender boy of 12. My friend, he's a young child of 10. This itty bitty baby of a boy of 8 years old. Like, what? I'm not 8. I'm 10 years older than that. And then she went and she put me in a microwave.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the automatic bonus progression rules in Pathfinder 1E,
Yeah.
where they're helpful. I think they're good, but you might have to tune how much loot you give
Yeah.
outside of the parameters that the book says to satisfy what your players want to
Yeah,
do.
actually, on page 83, there's a little two paragraphs that says adjusting items and treasure.
Yeah,
It says you can ignore much of the party by treasure by level as you want, though you'll usually want to provide consistent currency. The main area your choice will impact is spellcasting items, such as spell gems and spell chips. And then if you're using Pathfinder weapons and runes in your game, remove all potency runes and stuff. So it
yeah,
talks about Pathfinder rune stuff. Fine, I guess.
yeah. The free archetype was nice to see. Um, I always feel like there should be more words explaining that, but it really doesn't need
Yeah.
to be, and I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, yeah. I love that page because you have the gay pride Skittermander on it. He's the best Skittermander.
Oh,
I,
he looks. They look like their name's like Chet or something like that.
his name is definitely Chet. Look at that laser butt, that laser gun he's got. It's definitely Chet, and he's got like half of a pride like heart friendship bracelet. It's like he's definitely cool. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm calling
I
it.
mean
Look at
that
it.
ray gun straight out of a cereal box too.
Definitely. And also that hair, like that is definitely like that is right there is 100% gay culture. I'm claiming the Skittermander for us.
I think it's a good piece of art.
Very good. And then there's rules for like level 0 characters if you want to do level 0. One of the rules that's interesting to me is the proficiency without level, because it basically means that like when you like, let's say I'm untrained, my bonus is 2, or I'm the first rank. I'm
Trained.
Trained, yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Brain don't work too good today, apparently. And uh, when you're trained in something, you add two plus your level. This is basically how to adjust the game that you're just not adding your level, and it makes all the numbers smaller. Which is like, if you like smaller math, it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's a fine way to do it. Uh,
Yeah, I think that rule system is fine if you're like coming from 5e, and 5e only has a proficiency system too. It doesn't add their levels.
yeah, yeah. It's just an adaptation.
Yeah,
The ancestry paragon seems
I
interesting. I don't
I love
know.
that one.
Hmm. It's just like extra feats. I don't know why
Yeah,
I don't know
it
why
is.
that's a rule though, but whatever.
If you I mean, like, so the way that ancestries tend to be balanced is that you'll basically get all of your ancestry's feats by level 20. There's like maybe one or two you won't have unless your ancestry is one of Paizo's favorites, in which case they print a billion feats for you,
Hmm.
you know. And then if you're a Barathu, then you just get what's in the book, and or you're done.
Go away, gas bag.
I actually don't know if that's going to be accurate because Barathus are core. Maybe you're a Bantrid and you just don't get any more after the book.
Take that nose pass.
Right. Exactly. There's like, so we mentioned before that a lot of this feels just kind of like rehash from the Pathfinder rules, but here's one that's new. Like, there's an entire section on if you want to change how like zero gravity works. Like, there are ways to, like, because the base rule set is very like basic and utilitarian, and like, here's some rules. And if you want to be more scientific, there's more. Like, there's one that's like, how does energy damage work in a vacuum? Well, if you
I
want this optional rule.
love these expanded space rules because if you go
Yeah.
down to movement in space,
Yeah.
there's the rules for conservation of momentum, which is one of the memeiest rules I've ever seen in a role playing game. Mechton Zeta did it, where you could calc, and the scale is meant to be action figures in your living room because it's space, but
Yeah.
you were supposed to be able to keep track of different weapons imparting different energies and knocking people past your couch. And this is a usable version of that system in a way.
That's
I don't
funny.
know if I would use it. I don't know if players would use it, but I'm really glad it's there because it really gives that sci-fi feel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's this thing called galactic hero points, which is, it says hero points could be underwhelming when the result is worse. So basically, if you roll a hero point, if you roll lower, you can re-roll to get until you get something better.
Oh, see, I was just
So
doing it
like,
that if you rolled lower, I just ignored that.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, in chat, Cripwalker would like to add to what I said and said Barathu have 16 ancestry feats and ancestry feats, and ancestry paragon will let you take 11 of the 16.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So you'd be the alpha Barathu.
Alpha Barathu, I am best. Love it. And then Skill Paragon is, this is actually new to Starfinder. Skill Paragon, is, to my knowledge, doesn't exist in the Pathfinder remasters. This is new for the Starfinder system. And basically, how it works is that you get to pick a skill. You automatically become trained in it at first level when you build your character. If you would already be trained in it, you retrain that training into a different skill. So you basically get a free trained skill at first level.
Hmm.
And then at third, seventh, and 15th level, you gain an additional skill increase in your Paragon skill that you only can go there, and you automatically gain all common general feats that specifically require proficiency in that skill. So
Oh.
every single feat that's like, this is an acrobatic skill, you gain it for free. So it kind of almost like, because you know how like in Pathfinder First Edition, like there was just a list of things you could do with the skill and everybody could do it, and you didn't need to do anything special for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of brings that back for one skill that you are just really good
Yeah.
at.
Reminds me of the skill unlocks.
Yeah, this rule interests me. Yeah, it does. It is very similar to skill unlocks. I agree. This one interests me because I feel like, depending on your class, this could be more or less powerful. Because like, if you're a fighter and you're taking intimidate, and that's like, okay, cool. But if you're a barbarian and all of your features are based around intimidate, that feels like a lot more powerful. Or if you're like a bard and you get all the perform for free, like, skill feats aren't extremely strong, so I don't think it's game breaking. But I definitely think there's, similar to how there's some interesting things you can do with free archetype. I think there's interesting things you could do with this too.
Yeah. Hey, look, I I am in favor of this one and exploring it more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's afflictions. I'm not going to talk about the rules. They're pretty much the same as what is in the Pathfinder, but this one has a lot of pre-made ones, and I think the afflictions are funny. Did you get to read any of them, James?
Yeah. I mean, social media addiction's the first one up there. The curse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's just a great one.
What
Uh,
did you think of? What did you think of microtransaction hell?
I, 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 I don't know.
It says when you're cursed every day you wake up to you lose up to 25 credits deducted from a cred stick on your person. If you have no credits available, you've been accruing debt to the curse and become sickened as long as you have the debt.
Oh no. I don't know. I like
It's
it's
very
too
funny.
real. It's too real. I also do like Bullet Magnet. That's just Mike.
Yeah. I also think that telepathic broadcast is horrifying because it says your thoughts begin broadcasting to those around you, resulting in a loss of self control as intrusive thoughts become outwardly projected at inappropriate times. It says it says this curse was felt by many communities across the pack worlds during the birth of the newborn and tends to manifest around significant deposits of octronite. Also, radiation sickness is here. It only lists mild, from what I can see.
Yeah, I think there's higher ones. I think that's just an example. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
Radiant
know. I
sickness
see extreme.
extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's just a higher level. I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So yeah, they just got a bunch of those, and then they have environmental damage, and there's some flat rules for them, which I appreciate, and then they go into a little bit deeper of who can do good in them, and this is, I guess, GM information in a chart that is useful, and it's weird that some of them are limited. So this is one of those things that's like, here's a chart or whatever,
Yeah.
but at least it is more than just advice or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's actual rules. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like the environmental stuff. I think it's fine. You know, I'm. It's not like it's like you said. It's a weird mix, right?
yeah. I mean, they do put a note there that strong walls such as well-maintained concrete or steel cannot be broken without dedicated work and proper tools. I don't like that as a wall
No,
hater.
no, you do hate
Getting
walls,
through
but
walls requires downtime. Yeah, the downtime is combat. Let's go.
on the plus side, though, you're not in a situation where your players aren't sure how to break open those steel walls in the spaceship from the one story you're always telling.
Yeah, well, that's because they literally didn't have the tools for that. But these are numbers that can be overcome. Like an airlock has a hardness of 22. That is high. That's not infinite. Uh,
It's true.
in the words of All Might, if your power isn't nullification, then eventually I'll get through.
That's funny. Wow, I remember that, and it never occurred to me how much of a James sentence that is.
Yeah, if it's absorption, you're going to absorb a lot. I'm gonna get there.
There's lots of different like. So, what did you think of the environmental stuff?
I like them. I think oftentimes they're annoying to get through, but when you actually consistently use them in games, I think they're pretty fun. Um, I
I
think Starfinder kind of throws them away a little bit because of environmental protections, but I like that they're there.
I like terrain too, but the way that this is written, it sounds more of a lecture than rules. Like for just scrolling randomly, chasms are natural pits, typically is 20 feet long and clearly visible, bearing mundane or magical efforts to conceal them. The main danger posed by a chasm is that the characters must long jump to get across. Alternatively, they can try to take a slower but safer route. And like, there's a section that talks about like how much damage like environmental stuff should do, but most of them are like that where like it doesn't feel like actually rules, it feels like guidelines for doing it yourself, which I don't know. I
Yeah,
paid money for this book.
yeah. I mean,
You should
if you
do
go
it
to the
for me.
chart, there's a proficiency DC band for certain
Yeah.
ones and what you do. So like they did, it put some more rules into them.
Yeah, yeah,
And when you get to the more extreme things, it does give also more rules, like it doubles down. But a lot of times it's rules or whatever, which once again I appreciate more than suggestions or whatever.
yeah. There's a nice little chart though for demolishing doors. You must like that. You love demolishing.
I know that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know. It
Uh,
was great. I just wanted to bring it back just so everybody knew how much James really loves demolishing. We had to talk about it twice.
mm. And then there's
I
one
had to
about
talk about it twice.
catwalks, and I don't. It's a catwalk. Why that's weird. That's a rule.
Yeah, I agree. That is a little bit of a weird one. It's just a very thin platform.
Also elevators,
Elevators. There's also there's some cool stuff in here too. Like there's tsunamis, floods, sandstorms, psi storms,
drift
gravity
beacons.
wells, rift beacon. That's an environmental hazard.
Yeah, it's in outer space. It's a thing, and it's a weird thing in outer space, part of environment.
I guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
and floors in the previous section. There's just one called floors. It is
Yeah,
2 sentences. It's a floor.
yeah. It's a floor.
Thank you, Merriam-Webster.
Listen. Sometimes you just need to make sure people understand that sometimes a floor is just a floor. Um, we're not going to go over all of these in person. A lot of it is just telling you basic guidelines on how to educate stuff. It doesn't
Yeah.
really have rules. It's just a
Yeah,
description.
the detecting
Uh,
hazards is the hazard section is written well, because there was some
yeah,
stuff that I definitely was doing wrong based off what I read in Player Core, and they might be
yeah,
the same, and I might
yeah.
just be dumb, but uh, I realized there's some stuff I was doing a little bit wrong, and
Yeah, well, the hazards the system is very brief, but it's very good, and it gives like a lot of specific directions on how to educate them.
yeah,
And then also, there's a ton of pre-built hazards for you to choose from. I think that's cool. I like hazards. I like devastating collision is one. Just crash, it's fine.
yeah, yeah. I think that's
Exploding, exact memory crystals.
traumatic moment,
I would have appreciated like a sentence or two describing what the thing is. Like laser webbed. I'm just like reading. Is this like a spider that shoots lasers, or is it like the thing from I'm talking about the crisscross from
uh,
Resident Evil? I think
yeah,
it's the
yeah.
crisscross,
Six
and then it's
sensors concealed in a 15-foot
yeah,
long corridor fire lasers when they detect movement.
exactly, yeah. Reading my ultimate weakness.
Oh no, literacy.
Literacy, no. I like deadly vid game is one. A hyper realistic vid game pulls players into a virtual world, transforming them into pixelated avatars and pitting them against deadly challenges. That's my jam. Please,
Quantum Clone, which is that Spider-Man meme.
yeah. Imposter, very good. And like I like reading the rules and the hazards. I think these are good. Then
Yeah,
it goes right into the section for how to build your own.
yeah. These are
Bravo.
good GM rules. These are ones
Yeah,
I don't have any like second thoughts about. It's like this is what I need
yeah,
to do the thing. Perfect.
yep. And then it goes from into hazards into building creatures. It's like, oh,
I do
cool.
need that. I need that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. This section is pretty much identical to the Pathfinders. There's Starfinder art instead. I haven't seen anything that made me go, wow, this is unique to Starfinder as I've looked through it through 2 or 3 times now. There's like all the different bonuses you need. You just pull it through and there you
I
go.
mean,
I,
probably
I
considerations for things like flying being more accessible and different tech items, but otherwise,
yeah. I think the most important thing is the fact that the Swoltrid is there.
Swoltrid. Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
it's
I see.
on page 126. It's a Bantrid, but it's got like 2 cybernetic arm prostheses.
Yeah.
There, yeah, it's good. Like sometimes you just gotta horrify people. That's how you do it,
That's just like a bird rocking up with arms. I'm just like, what are you doing, man?
man.
I'm in
Woo!
danger.
Yeah. Then there's a section for like how to make your own items. I think is pretty cool. There's like level bonuses on when you should give out different bonuses to skills and stats and stuff. Like talks about ampules, about how they work. A lot like this section is a bit more back and forth between lecture and actual rule content than the other two we just talked about. But there's enough here that's actually like guidelines for stuff that I think it works in. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, limited use versus unlimited use, area damage. Like there's enough tables here that I like.
Uh huh. And then we go to building worlds.
Yeah. You gave me a setting. Why am I building worlds?
Yeah. Why am I doing? I mean, like, eventually, I'm gonna want my own places, I guess. But like, why is this here? And most of this is like, this is gem stuff. It's like, okay, this is like radioactive, whether barren wastes or abandoned cities. These environments frequently feature mutated flora, fauna, pools of acid, and radioactive materials that can overwhelm even higher level environmental protections. Okay, what are the rules for that? Because like Starfinder First Edition infamously had problems with environmental protections being too good. So,
Yeah.
like, where are the rules for
Yeah.
this?
Are you telling me to go back into the book and look at the hazards and start from square one? And you're just giving me a list of things to look up earlier in the book?
This feels like Jim from The Office handing a card that says, "Oh, look at this page on GM Core," and then the card says, "I do what I want." It's
And that is fine. Also, we did skip over. There is an item creation section as well. That's good too.
yeah,
Um,
it is good.
but yeah, the building world, like it's this is definitely one of those lecture series parts of the book, which
Yeah,
you know.
I and like I don't even hate the confirmation. Like one of them is on magic, and it says, "Does magic exist? Which traditions are available?" And then it talks about different levels of magic. Which this is good. It's good help for a GM book, but like in two sections, we go into your campaign setting. Are there places in Starfinder where magic of any kind doesn't exist? Like I know Earth is a low magic setting from doing adventures on Earth in Pathfinder, but like I would say, like when we went there, all of my bard spells still worked. So like they just don't get magic. Like I this it's weird because this book feels like it wants to be like an inspirational advice guide for you to make your own adventures in Starfinder, but it also wants to be their setting. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
I I like a lot of this stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's like I feel like even if you are a brand new player who's never played Starfinder before, you can imagine a world where religion doesn't exist. As in, like one of them is atheism. That's what is the norm, and like I feel like you don't need a book to tell you that.
yeah.
Like that, it's one of these places the book feels like it has like fluff because not because it's trying to like be bad, but because it feels like it has to say this and like does it though? I'm gonna
Yep.
do the Thor meme. um, and then you have building settlements, which is I don't know.
Similar.
Back in it is because back in Pathfinder, like you had settlement stat blocks. It's like,
Yeah, but they
oh,
weren't
this
core
teaches.
rulebook.
No, they weren't. But this isn't core rulebook either.
Yes, this is. It's literally called core.
I guess, yeah. Was it? Wasn't the settlement stat block in GM Guide? That's kind of like their version of this,
No, I
right?
think it was Ultimate Campaign.
Oh, maybe. I'm not going to look through and find out. It's not important.
Fair and valid.
Yeah. And then, like I mentioned, chapter 3, it just starts talking about the pack worlds for 50
which is
pages.
which is cool
Yeah,
if there
it's
was more.
good. Yeah, I a lot of these sections about like how to build like worlds and like this is a set like this feels like it wants to be a setting book in a lot of places. So like lean into one of those two. Either I'm making my own setting or I'm using the pack worlds. Like or like have a section where it talks about like they start with saying like okay these are how you would pick the setting and then out of these options this is the pack worlds let us explain the pack worlds to you like the last couple sections in building games for like building the setting and then this setting chapter they feel like they're at odds with each other
Yeah,
right
yeah,
like at least that's just my opinion of it
yeah. I mean, each world that they go over has a 2-page spread, so it's enough to get a little bit about a planet and the recent events that have happened to it, and that's it. And there is like the little stat card, which tells you
yeah
like government, population, languages, religion, days, night cycle, years. Um, but like it's not a deep dive into locations in those places, and that's fine because they've decided to include a lot of locations to start out with to kind of flesh out the core ancestries. But it's something that will they didn't give you enough here to like make your own things on these worlds that are themed on those worlds. You have to take the description from here, go to the ideas, and then go to the rules earlier in the book to make an approximation of this place, which just
so
feels weird.
I was looking through the setting section did you notice that they changed the name of the days of the week in the setting
I mean, I thought they did that before. Did they?
it says the name of the day first it's the first day second day third it's first day second day third day fourth day fifth day sixth day seventh day and that's Monday Tuesday Wednesday Thursday Friday Saturday Sunday
Yeah, I
I thought that I thought they had all like Galarian lost names
oh, did they?
yeah I thought they were all like this one was like Ayama Day or something like that like they were named after the gods which I don't hate transitioning to this feels more sci-fi I actually like a numbered system like this but there's no explanation as to why that changed, which I don't know.
I would have to double check because also the months still have
Yeah, this
the
the months of the pack world still use their like original names, which is interesting. Um, then from there, there's like a 2-page spread on every planet in the pack worlds. Um,
and the
I
vast and diaspora and yada yada.
yeah.
Like I said,
What do you?
it's not enough to run a game on.
Yeah,
You just have to kind of read a brief description, go, let me go read the advice. The advice says these things. Let me look up these hazards. It's like yeah, if I had a stat block for these things, I would have not had
it's
to go through 40 pages.
it's really weird because like we just had the Pack Worlds book in May, and the Pack Worlds book organized all of its chapters based on the stories you could tell in a given planet. So like now we're getting this book that has what the planets are actually about, I guess, but it's still it feels like there's still a lot of information missing, you know?
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't know. I this and this feels like weird. It feels weird to me. I didn't really like the presentation in the pack worlds and having the planets listed like this. Like this looks like similar to how the information was put in the original Starfinder core rulebook. Because if you remember, that had about like 2-page spreads on each of the planets too. And then like it went for like smaller places had like columns.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's funny that the Barathu on the Lavaria page on 170, they look like a shrimp fried these rice.
What was it? 270.
Yeah, 270. It looks like a shrimp fried this rice.
Oh yeah, I just popped that up. I mean, that might be once again the art for. Wait, 270 isn't a page.
I'm sorry, 170.
So you lied to me. How could you
I
do
did.
this live on
I'm a
air?
liar. I did live on air. Everybody knows I'm just a horrific liar
Okay, I guess I could see it.
now. Yeah, it's a shrimp fried this rice. I love it. Yeah, and then I like the one that I think is the most interesting is that now that Polanis has joined the Pact Worlds, you have a entry on Polanis, and I feel like for us that have been here for a while, that's new, and I like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is appreciate it, especially because they have a core race on it now.
Yeah, exactly. Got to do it. There's interesting little stuff on the planes. It this also has like describing each of the traits of the planes, which I think is helpful if you want to make your own demi plane kind of a thing.
Yeah, and now if you want, there's also rules here for enhanced or impeded magic. If you were to use some of the suggestions from earlier in the book, you would have to remember that they are in a table at the end of the book.
Yeah, cool, helpful. I like how the drift has its own planar write up. I think this is more than we got because like we never got this style of book like you said in first edition. So like in terms of like how the planes fit into Starfinder, this is the first time we've gotten this information on a lot of them because Galactic Exploration Guide didn't cover the planes and Starfinder never got a planar manual.
True, true.
Yeah. So the only information we've ever had on the planes and how they are in Starfinder is from certain adventures. Like there's one, it's not Drift Crisis, it's Drift Crash, I think is what it's called. The one it's not Drift Hackers, it's the one before that. And that one involves like you're fighting against people from hell. And so like there's a really cool art on page 190, and that's a real number this time. That shows like devils in hell with space guns and spaceships and stuff. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's fine, good, you know, happy.
Okay, so
There's like
I was looking over. It's called Galaxy Guide. I think you're calling it Pact Worlds. So
Galaxy Guide. Yeah, okay, sorry.
I was like, wait a
I
minute, that's the wrong book.
that's the wrong name.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get the right name of the book right because I feel like Galaxy Guide. I know it was put earlier to get people hype about it, and it was like, here's what we have now. But I
Yeah,
really feel like this should be this should have been released after this book.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I like how this goes over all of the major Pact World species, like some of the ones we haven't seen yet, like the ancient species like dwarves and stuff, and then you have the astrozoans and contemplatives and dragonkin, all that good stuff. Stuff that we don't really have yet, but we're probably getting pretty soon. I like how Skittermanders are core, but Skittermanders and Vesk are core, but they're listed under.
Well, they're not from around here.
Yeah. And there's a good little section about about different threats and then different organizations, religions. Is this the same information that was in the player core on the deities?
No, uh, and yes, the player core actually has more information about the deities.
Oh,
This
that
is
seems like a problem.
this is a reduced snapshot. So like in the player core, it gives over like bonuses that you get by worshiping them, anathema, edicts, and like a 1 or 2 sentence thing
Yeah,
about the god. In this book, you get 3 to 6 sentences about the gods, the edict, and their anathema. Anathema.
that's weird.
Yeah, it is
So
very weird to me.
so I'm glancing through faiths and philosophies for the first time. Did they change Xeno Wardens from being a religion to
Yeah.
being an organization and the green faith is their religion now again?
I don't.
Because it says faith and philosophy is the green faith. Many Xeno-wardens and other mystics practice a modern version of the old green faith. So like I don't think Xeno-warden is a religion anymore, which is fine. But also, isn't the Xeno-warden archetype from that one book that we reviewed? I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
but I think that makes sense because like the green faith is kind of like druidic, like the druidic faith because you're not really
Yeah,
like worshiping a deity itself, you're worshiping a philosophy, an
I guess
idea.
so. Yeah. I like that that the Whispering Way is back as the Song of Silence. Like that's funny.
I like their icon. It's very minimalist.
I I actually I'm gonna read this out loud. I'm not lying out loud. I actually think this is fascinating. I want to talk about it. The Song of Silence is a modern remix of the ancient Whispering Way that once spread on Lost Galarian. It teaches that Pharasma's judgment is a revolving door leading to an eternal cycle of suffering and that the only way out is undeath. The Song of Silence is prevalent on Eox, where dying mortals beg undead gurus for a surefire shot at immortality. I want to talk about this because, like, I don't know if people listening know, but I brought back guidance. I've been writing guidance articles every other week for the past like month of September, and one of the things that I talked about in my most recent article is about how Pharasma is kind of the worst, and the afterlife in Pathfinder is really bleak. Like, because like in real world faith and religion, most religions believe that when you die, if you do things well and you make whatever religious figure happy, you will go to an afterlife where you will have a pleasant experience, right? You'll have an afterlife that you get to experience. And in Pathfinder and Starfinder, you die, and Pharasma sends you to a plane where all of your memories get wiped and you become a petitioner. And in most places, you either suffer or have to work for eternity. Like even when you like if you go to hell, then the devils like you turn into a lemure and or like a similar like gooey petitioner, and they literally mortar the walls of Des with your body if you're not lucky. Like like and but then you go to heaven, and heaven it talks about, yeah, you go to heaven and you just get to labor for the forces of good forever is literally what it says in Planar Adventures in Pathfinder First Edition. Like I was like, wait a minute. So you're telling me my cleric is like worshiping a goodly deity to go and be a carpenter in heaven forever?
Well, the idea I'm guessing of that is they know that, and that's what they want to do with the rest of their afterlife, right?
I hope so. I hope that's what they want. I think that the prospect of like, because like, what's the point of an afterlife if you don't remember the before life? You just that's just reincarnation with extra steps.
I don't have an answer for you on that, my
You
man.
don't. No, you don't.
That's a lot. It's a lot to throw at me. It's like 9:50 at night. I don't got those answers.
No, listen, I am the modern acolyte of the Song of Silence. Break Pharasma's chains, be free. Prophecy is dead, and Pharasma should die with it.
All right, Edgelord. All right, all right.
No, the other gods are fine. I'm not edgy. It's just Pharasma. Um, Subsystems. There's a lot of really good subsystems if you want to like add extra ways to play. Victory points were very popular in start in Pathfinder, and it's the same system. Do a thing, get a point, get enough points, you win.
Now, influence.
Influence.
If you
Yeah.
need video games for your players to understand if somebody likes them or not.
listen, listen. Sometimes it's fun to do that though. Like it's fun.
I
I like bar go up, make me happy.
yeah, I guess. I mean, you should be able to tell if an NPC likes you or not likes you via how they interact with you. But okay.
Listen, sometimes you could just ask them too, and they'll tell you no, and it's like, oh, sorry for wasting your time. Then I've done that on a story a couple times.
Yeah. You should probably like be able to figure these things out. I get I get they could be helpful for larger encounters, but in general, I just think they're kind of silly.
I like the research rules. They're cool. They're fine. It's basically using victory points in order to learn stuff. Fine. Cool. Chases using victory points to chase and catch someone. I like the art for that one because it's a guy in a lab coat on a motorcycle chasing a Yusoki. No idea why. They look very determined though. It talks about using visual aids for that section. There's like infiltration if you want to do a heist. I do enjoy me a good heist, James.
Yeah. I mean, heists are good. I mean, especially when your players always mess them up because I've never seen any heist ever go according to plan.
Yeah.
Sorry, the ones I plan generally go according to plan, but most people's don't.
Smooth Criminal 1998 in chat says there's an article that talks about Pharasma will have to judge herself and she'll be the last in line to judge and then the world ends. That's Pharasman propaganda. Like they want you to believe that.
Wait, isn't that the same edict as Rovagug?
Yeah.
That the weapons of war will be the last things destroyed and then it will die.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, every god just says, I'm going to be the last thing and then it's over. That's it.
I
They're,
swear, that's
they're,
it, just me.
they're all going to get into a big like fighting ring and they're going to duke it out to see who's last and the universe will go silent.
The ultimate showdown of ultimate deity destiny.
Right? It's Mythender. It'll be great. Um, and then there's a hacking section if you like complicated rules for hacking. I actually don't think this is that bad because it's mostly just a
Yeah,
victory point thing.
it's not that complicated, but it's good because a lot of players start asking about those things. Also, there's research rules, and I love research rules.
Yeah, I love research rules too. Yo, digital high five. We love research here at No Direction.
Yeah, a bunch of
Um,
nerds.
we're so nerdy. But also like the thing that I like about the hacking rules is that it's not the hacking rules from Starfinder First Edition. Great plus there.
Very great. Those were too much because you had to explain them to somebody who went, I don't understand any of that. I guess my roll's bad.
Yeah, I'm just
Hey,
gonna roll this dice. You tell me when I either explode or I pass. And
I'm
the
gonna
GM,
I'm gonna say a bunch of stuff that really means can I get another try? The answer is no. You just said something about a mainframe and mumbled.
yeah. So I feel like this is the one you and I have been like kind of dreading talking about, and it's the Starship scenes one.
Yeah, they're here.
I don't like starship scenes, man. I know that people have been talking about how this type of starship stuff is good, but to me, this is like just the perfect combination of not enough content here to actually be rules. Because like it gives you a stat block, it has like conditions and objectives and stuff, but then you read like how to build them, and it's like go look at this other chart. And you look at the rules where it's like defining the ships. What can your ship do? I don't know. What do you think is useful? Like, how much hit points does it have? You should use a high hit points if you want it to be fragile, and a low, and if you want it to be strong, and a low hit points if you don't. Like, a starship should be able to survive for multiple rounds in an encounter. But where's the damage? Like the section is just I do not like this
Yeah,
system. I
it's
think
it's it,
that
it has you look over too many parts of the book to try to get something that your players are probably going to ignore because it's in a ship.
yeah,
It's the
I
epitome of the thing I've been saying, where it's like, here's a suggestion or whatever.
Yeah, and the other problem with this section is that it actually does not solve the problem of first edition Starfinder Starship Combat, which is Starship Combat is removed from what the players actually do and build towards as their characters. Like you stop being your character and you start being a skill bonus. Like this could literally have just been in that previous section in victory points, and that's it.
Yeah,
Like this is I think that this is air masquerading as it's like when you get the it's like angel food cake. We're like, wow, this is cake. This is great. And you go, and then the whole thing sinks. You know what I'm talking?
yeah,
You're a chef. You know what I mean?
yeah, like cotton candy.
Yeah. I just don't like it. I don't think and there's some like examples on like how it can work and like stuff you can do, but there's no guides to actually get there other than vibes.
Yeah,
So I'm not a fan of this section. I would like actual starship combat rules, but
yeah,
I think that I don't think there's ever going to be a Starship Combat section that's really all that good because ultimately if it takes your character out of the experience because like if I'm driving a vehicle it's still my character taking actions and using the action economy to do the thing, like I'm still playing the game. I'm just using gear to do it. And
yeah,
if you are taking me out of that then it's no longer the game.
yeah. Oi man, ya boy man, love that name.
Yeah,
States I'd rather wait for Starship Combat rules to be fully cooked. Yeah, I totally agree. This is
yeah,
this is purely being dissatisfied with something that is not a final system. That is
yeah.
just we feel like we literally needed to put this here because people would ask for it.
Yeah, I if you want my hot take, I would rather have not seen this here. I would have rather them do 2 pages in the victory point sections on how you could use victory points for Starship Combat, and that would have been fine. Like, I put these 2 pages somewhere else. Maybe give Pharasma 2 extra pages to make me like her more.
Look, maybe Frasma didn't start. Maybe she just like inherited everything being kind of sucky.
I mean, technically, she did. The previous universe died, and she was the only survivor, and then she became in charge of the new universe. So you're right. She did kind of inherit a bad deal, but also she's in charge of the universe. be better. Speaking of vehicles, vehicles are the next section. Vehicle rules are kind of the same from Pathfinder, except everything is faster, bigger, better because vehicles are better in Starfinder than they are in Pathfinder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
uh,
more
but
usable.
like, but then like here you get piloting actions where like these still use
Run over.
single actions. Run over. It's a 3 action ability. It uses the action economy, so the things my character does matter. And I could see myself seeing a skill feat in the future that maybe does something when I run over somebody. Maybe I don't like I don't bounce as much. I don't know. Maybe I get a bonus to my collision save, my reflex save against collision damage from to my vehicle. Like I don't know, but I like this a million times better than Starship in this section. This is like
Yeah,
actual
and
content.
look, you get stat blocks for your vehicles.
Yeah. They're good. Look, a hoverboard. Look, it's level 0. Look, I could be forklift lift certified, James. It's right there.
Yo! All right, next character I make gonna be forklift certified.
It's a level 1 vehicle. Any character you make, it's 100 credits to buy a forklift.
Oh
I
my
could afford
god,
it.
why is a forklift so cheap?
A hoverboard is 90 credits. So if you want to be like in Marty McFly in Back to the Future, but in the second one where he's actually in the future on a hoverboard, that's 90 credits. But man, like he could have literally gone and he could have spent
10
10
more
credits
credits.
more and gotten a forklift. And then all the ladies would have been after him.
Oh my god, you can
Or
stunt.
if you're like me, all the dudes would have been after
Yeah,
him.
you can stunt. Oh my god, it's right there.
Yeah, it's so good.
See,
I
the
would
this is the Starfinder I'm here for.
it's so good. James very famously in our Starfinder Society game had a character who bought a tour bus because she was a pop star, and there was an entire scenario that table beat because James had a tour
You have environmental hazards. Yeah, I have a hover bus. All right, none of these, like I said, these hazards matter. You're right. I,
bus.
I did spend 15,000 credits in a good way because I'm also a pacifist and don't buy weapons.
It's so good. It's so good. Then the last section in this book is anachronistic adventures. I This section is a lot of advice and lectures too, but unlike a lot of the other critiques I've been given, I like this section here because I remember when this section was in the core rulebook of first edition, and I did not like it in there. I think that this as like a suggestion for how to run this style of game is good. And it talks about how the rules are compatible. Some options from Starfinder don't work great in Pathfinder and vice versa. Like it's easier to get dark vision in Starfinder than Pathfinder, that kind of thing. There's lots of adjustments and testing stuff. There's time shifted adventures where if you want to go to the past, like there's a picture of the iconic the iconic operative using like a musket and the iconic operative using a bow and arrow, which is pretty good. I like that. Pretty fun. It talks about like class features and like gear dependent classes, how that works. I like it. There's a picture of Mauricio and Kira still being fabulously gay, but in like future garb. That's really nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, good.
it's a good chapter for people that want to
Yeah,
do these type of games.
yeah. I think this one's really good. Like I like it.
Yeah,
That talks a little bit about like the different types of ancestry considerations you should make, backgrounds, different classes, and actually using a lot of this content in Pathfinder. So like Solarians are easy to use in a Pathfinder campaign with no adjustments. Channeling the power of the cosmos is a classic high fantasy theme. Many players will enjoy being able to play a supernatural warrior who constructs their own weapons on the fly. Like when you put it like that, Solarian is literally the Pathfinder Soul Knight. Pathfinder,
yeah,
love it.
and you get the
I like
archaic equipment rule. I like that one.
Yeah, I actually like how it says Solarians or soldiers can present challenges because it's based on area weapons.
Hmm.
What I really like is it talks about like how uh, it talks about using like scrap launchers or alchemical flamethrowers, and then like it says, oh, but if you don't want to do that, the soldier might have to take the whirling swipe feat like as their source of area
Oh
attacks.
no, I
Which
have to do melee to do things.
oh no, I have to be the fun soldier. How dare
I have to be
I?
the Chad one that tries a forklift.
Yeah. Yeah, but and then I don't know. I like the anachronistic creature section because the art there shows regular goblins like looking at it. It's good stuff. I also like robo dragons are fun,
Yeah,
but there's a lot. It's kind of weird because I feel like there's a lot of information on how to do it. Like there's like almost like 10 pages of this content, which is a lot, maybe more. I'm counting now. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a significant portion of the time of thing. It's almost like a 5 setting planet spreads.
Yeah. So, James, with that, that brings us to the index. We already talked about indexes are great. Love them.
You love them. They do
Uh,
them good. They best in the
yeah,
business.
they do. So, with that in mind, how do we feel about this book? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Hmm. Because I am somebody that is going to run games as I do now, and there's rules for things that I need. I do need this game or book. If you are a
Yeah.
player, and you are mostly a player, you definitely don't need to have a copy of this book. A lot of it is um, extraneous if you are used to GMing. The fact that you're GMing in the Starfinder setting in a 2e setting doesn't change a lot of your previous experience. I'm gonna be flat out on that.
I this kind of hurts me to say, but like unless you really want some of the things that are Starfinder specific, like the if you're really into the cinematic starship rules, or you just got to see their advice for how to run an anachronistic adventure, I kind of think if you already own the Pathfinder GM core, this book doesn't really do anything different.
Okay, I
Um,
mean, if you are gonna have a forklift, you need the book.
okay, that's fair. There you go. The number one content, if you want to be forklift certified, you have to buy this book.
Yeah, it has all
10
the
out of 10, no
rules, the
question.
stat block. Yep.
If you're somebody for whom the forklift is not a drive, number one, maybe seek therapy, but
Reflect.
reflect on your life choices a little. But number two, if you, I mean, like I have a tough time recommending this book to somebody who already owns Pathfinder GM Core for the first second edition. Um, I think that you probably don't need both. I think that if you could transition credits silver to credits and you're willing to do that for yourself, you're fine. And I don't like saying that because I want to say that this book is fabulous and I think that it's a very high quality book with a lot of good content. But I also think that eh,
Yeah.
this more than this Pathfinder, because like James and I have talked a lot about how there have been points where we've been concerned about how much this game was going to feel like it borrows from Pathfinder and requires it. And obviously, this book being printed under the Starfinder logo means that you could just play Starfinder and never touch Pathfinder. That's wonderful. I just think that it's more of a matter of if you already have one and you're willing to do the work to convert silver to credits, and you are in a rough economic state right now, like many people are in the world, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
You'll probably be
Also,
fine.
you need to buy Pathfinder GM core to get the stamina rules.
That's true. Yeah. If you want this, so that's the thing. If you want the forklift, you need to get the Starfinder book. And if you want the stamina rules because you like stamina from the original Starfinder, you got to get the Pathfinder book.
They
So
got me. They got me.
they got you. Now you got to buy both.
Got me on both
But
ends.
I have a feeling that we're not going to feel this way about the next book that comes coming out soon. It's Alien Core.
I'm
That book
excited for
should
that
be
one.
out. I believe that's next month in November.
Mhm.
That for me is the book that I think is going to be really exciting and interesting because I'm not expecting to see a lot of stuff that I've seen before in this system. So I'm really excited to see what they do. At the
Yeah.
very least, even if they have like an entry for elves and dwarves, at least I know the
Goblin.
stat blocks will be built. Yeah, goblins, but at least I know the stat blocks will be built with laser guns, and so I won't have to change anything myself. You know, the number one thing that I think that a lot of people don't acknowledge enough, like they don't say it out loud. I like buying books because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to do things myself.
Preach.
like like one of the worst parts about playing a 19th level Starfinder game right now is I have to make almost all the creatures, and I'm like, I really don't want to do that. Like
Stop giving me work.
like if I was making them and gonna sell them or something, like maybe, but even then, I would rather do something else. You just give me the content, write it for me.
Just give me the good
I'll pay
stuff.
you, pay you. But I'm excited for Alien Core, and then I think our plan is that we're going to do Alien Core when it comes out next month, and then assuming we have the book in time. If we don't, we're also going to take a look at Murders at Metal City. Like I said, I have the physical product, so we'll do a review for that. And then when we are done with that, it'll probably be December or January. And then I believe James and my plan is to start doing our fun class dissections that we used to do for the original Starfinder book.
Yeah, I get to dig in
Um,
deep, and I make forklifts certified characters with all the classes.
is that going to be your version of Lauren's Everything is a Viking, everyone is forklift certified?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. You know what? I appreciate it. I'll see if I can update your Hero Forge icon to have a forklift somewhere. I don't think they have forklifts in Hero Forge yet, but
I would not think so.
I can be a kitsune and you can have a forklift, and that'll be our thing.
Perfect,
Well, we
perfect.
we both have special interests. Mine is just way weirder. Yours is way more practical.
Also, I believe next month, we'll be moving days to Monday, the last Monday of every month.
Yeah, we're switching we're switching our show day. We're going to be switching last Monday, so that's going to be October 27th, I believe.
Yeah, it's my
Um,
fault. I'm joining a volleyball league.
no, listen, it's important to stay healthy.
Yeah,
James wants to he wants to be the anime boy from the volleyball anime.
yeah, and also eventually my ankles will explode, and then we'll go back to Wednesdays.
I have faith in you. I bet you it takes at least a year before your ankles explode.
I would love a good year before my ankles explode.
Your daughter comes up to you and says, "Daddy, why did your ankles explode?" And you go, "Oh,
Uh,
Daddy chose the physical enrichment over forklift certification.
I
It
could have
was a mistake."
I could have gotten up high on a forklift, but instead my fat self decided to play a jumping sport.
Well, no, but also you have to do the jumping sport because our friend Mike is already like doing his own training for next year's your birthday party next year for when he's like going to jump the top of the thing.
Oh yeah, do the high jump with the friend combine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, no. They asked me to do that. I was like, "No, I'll throw axes and do that, but I ain't jumping.
Oh man,
You go,
you
man."
should have done the Fred combine. I mean, it was fun. I mean, I did the 40. It was like 8.4. It was a better time than I thought I was going to get.
Oh,
And vert was 19 and a quarter, which is a lot higher than I expected. So, gonna use these
I
knees and
see.
ankles while I got them.
See. Well, James, do you have anything you want to shout out before we send out?
No.
No. Well, this concludes No Direction Beyond. If you enjoyed our podcast, you should go to nodirectionpodcast.com, where you can see my updates to guidance, as well as plenty of other fantastic content that is up on there weekly. We got good stuff. If you haven't heard, Ryan is actually bringing back the flagship No Direction podcast, which is really exciting. We're very happy for him. He's got like this really cool monthly plan where he's kind of doing like a big recording at like one point, and then a lot of the content that would have been in a old No Direction back when he was doing it with Param, he's kind of like putting those pieces out as different content. So actually, in a lot of ways, it's like more No Direction content than we would have had before. I'm actually really excited to see what how he does with that. I believe he just had a video interview where he interviewed Jason Keeley about Battle Cry. There's also a video on our YouTube and I believe on our podcast where he talks about why he decided to come back to Pathfinder after stepping away. And I think that they're both really good
Yeah. He
listens. You
also did
should give it a listen.
another interview with somebody else as well that came out today.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And I believe he's still doing his Essence 20 stuff, the upshift,
No.
right?
Yeah, don't call it a
Yeah.
comeback. He's been here for years.
No, 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 no. Well, I mean, it's definitely a comeback to the flagship show, but it's definitely not. It's not like Ryan has been nowhere, and he's back, so it's cool. And we're excited to see this new stage of content because Ryan, that was always his baby, and it's good to see him feeling like he's ready to take up the reins and drive the caravan to down the old Oregon Trail again.
Yeah, yeah, no dysentery, no dysentery.
No dysentery for us, but we're gonna make sure we don't get disconnect. We're gonna make sure we don't get dysentery by signing off now because rest is important. So until next time, go beyond with no direction.